and system. So the basically first question you have to ask yourself whenever you're reading some subject. So what is the use of learning this subject? Whether this subject is going to helpful for me in future, where I'm going to apply. So in day-to-day application, whether I am using this subject, is it really practical to me? Or does this subject make some sense? So considering that aspect, signals and system, you can say this is the major subject which is trending today. You take AI, you take machine learning. The basic foundation for that is signals and system. Anything. For example, if you take your mobile, what signal you are taking? You are taking video signal from YouTube. If you are clicking any photograph, what is the signal there? Image. If you are speaking to anyone in the mobile, what is the signal which is transmitted? Voice. Signals and systems. If you take a car, and if a car is moving with a certain speed, so you take the parameters. If you consider an F1 race, why do they conduct the F1 race? Do you know that? To test the performance of the engine, to test how the tires are. After that, only you will get those. So if they test in F1 this year, you may get those components after 5 or 6 years. So for rigorous testing they use. And how do they monitor, or how do they say the performance of the engine or the performance of the tire is better? They have to monitor with the help of signal. For example, for an engine, how much fast this car goes, accelerometer data, all the data, weather data, everything will be in the form of signal which will be recording and which they will monitor. And to that data what they monitor, they apply this machine learning model or AI model. For example, if you want to design a machine learning model, you have to have some data with you. So that data is nothing but the signal. So signals are is the most important subject. If you take any sensor, for example, infrared, ultrasonic, any sensor you take, you have to measure the signal. Signal is an important component for electrical engineering point of view. And system, signals and system both are like, husband and wife. They both coexist. So if signal is there, there should be a system to process it. So signals and system go hand in hand. Okay, so you can see the screen what type of signal, like you can see the image signal, it's Far Cry 3. So if you have played Far Cry 3, you could have understood this. Okay, now coming to the contents. So whenever you learn the subject, you have to see what are the contents in it. So what do you get from that? So what is the benefit of learning? Okay, so the first module is introduction. So what is a signal? What is a system? What are the different classification of signal? So if you take any animal, there will be like herbivorous animals, carnivorous animals. So there will be different classification. Likewise, signals also has different classifications, like even, odd, periodic, aperiodic, then power, energy. So different classification of signals. Then basic operation of signal. So once you take the signals from a sensor, you have to do operate on the signal. So you're an engineer, you have to do addition, multiplication, subtraction, something to get a useful thing. Okay, then elementary signals. Elementary signals are nothing but impulse, step, ramp. This you'll study, do not worry about those things. Then properties of a system. So anything, any material, if you study in general, it will have property. For example, salt, if you take, it will have saltiness. Sugar, it will be sugar, like it will be sweet. So this system also has some property like memory, properties like causal, acausal, etc. Then you have this self-learning component which you have to do by yourself. Systems viewed as interconnection of operations. So these are the contents in module 1. Coming to the module 2. In module 2, you will see the time domain representation for linear time invariant system. So this linear time invariant LTI system, what is the importance? Why do we want to study? Everything we will see in module 2. Then convolution. What is this convolution? Just like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, in signals we have something called as convolution. So if you see the weather data of Google, there will be clouds. Okay, these clouds will be covering, and it will be, we can't able to view the streets from the upper, if you take from the satellite viewpoint. So if you use this convolution, it is nothing but filtering. So if you use this convolution, we are able to remove these clouds and we can see the roads. So that's the major advantage. So all the things, whatever basics you learn here, is applied one way or the other when you grow up. So when you graduate from the engineering, I can bet you, if you're going in the field of AI and ML, if you want a proper salary, this subject is very much important. And coming to the response representation. So any signal you can take, you can represent them in terms of impulses. Impulses means, in physics we have learned, which stays there for a small period of time. So you can represent any signal in terms of impulses. Then properties of response representation. What are the properties with respect to that? Then differential and difference equation. So these things you have learned in mathematics. So you people will be good in this one. Okay. Then self-learning, block diagram representation of LTI system. So why do we learn this module 1 and module 2? So these are the basic operation of the signal. You take any signal, you can represent them in terms of impulse response, or like you can make some operation, addition, subtraction, or odd even component. You can study the signal in terms of the basic quantity. The fundamental analysis is very much required in terms of DSP. So after this signals and system, in next sem, you will be having a subject called as DSP. In order to get a proper base to that, you should learn this subject properly. Then module 1 and module 2, I have explained why do you want to learn that. Then module 3, Fourier representation of signals. Fourier representation. Who this guy is called Fourier, and why did he introduce this Fourier representation? Who is this mad guy? You may think, no, this guy is a genius. Why he introduced this Fourier transform is, if you take any signal in time domain, you are not able to get the particular information in the time domain. So you have to convert from this time domain to another domain, which is called as frequency domain. So this frequency domain, you will get some information which is hidden in the signal, which is not observable in this time domain. So that is a major application. So you might have learned in maths M1, M2, or M3. I really don't know where you have learned that, but you have learned, I guess, Fourier representation of signal. Okay. Then Fourier representation, there is discrete time Fourier series and continuous time Fourier series. Okay. What is the difference? We will see when we go to that module. So why this module has been introduced? Because we are analyzing signals in terms of frequency domain representation. For that application, we should have some basics. So this subject or this module gives you the basics or the understanding to that. Okay. Now, coming to module number 4, you have Fourier representation of the signal. This is discrete time Fourier time representation. This is Fourier transform. That was Fourier series. This is Fourier transform. What is the difference between series and transform? You people should say, because you have learned in mathematics. Don't worry, we will cover in the 4th module, 3rd and 4th module when we reach there. Now, just think that like you're learning that module 3 and module 4, we are converting this time domain into frequency domain to get a much larger, or a, which is hidden information, which is not got in time domain, to analyze in a frequency domain. Okay. Then SLE, you have that algorithms for Fourier transform and DFT, which you have to learn. Then module 5. Module 5 is the Z transform. Similarly, like Fourier transform is, you're converting time domain to frequency domain. You can convert this time domain to another domain which is called as Z domain. So in Z domain, you're analyzing the signals. So how you analyze it is equal to r e power j theta. You will have a magnitude and you will have some angle. It will rotate in the form of circle. It is easy to analyze. So all this transform, z transform, frequency transform, for your convenient to analyze the signals, we are using that. So what are the components you are learning in module 5? Z transform, the properties of ROC, the properties of Z transform, inverse Z transform, then transforms analysis, then transfer function, then stability and causality. So anything for human also, if you take, he should be stable. He should be like a Usain Bolt, not like a Kashinath who is very thin. Okay, then unilateral Z transform and its application to solve difference equation. Okay, so these things just on a glance we have seen, but we will go in depth for that particular module. Okay, now we will go into this module 1, which is introduction. So what are the things we are going to learn here? Definition of signals and system, classification of signals, basic operation on signals, then elementary signals, then properties of a system. So these things we will learn in module number 1. So what is a textbook which you have to refer? Simon Hyken, Barry Van Wyn, Signals and System by John Wiley. So this is the standard textbook. Then you have reference textbook like Alan V. Oppenheim. So this guy, right, Alan V. Oppenheim, if you can see in YouTube, there are like lots and lots of videos, and this guy is like ultimate god of DSP. So this guy is like ultimate when it comes to DSP, and this book on DSP is like you have to refer whenever you get time. Okay, then there is Michael J. Roberts, and for problems you have BP Lat. But these textbooks are like, for you people, it's like hard, or like it's on a higher level. So what I recommend you, let's be simple, let's keep things simple. So let's stick on to some simple textbook, something like Uday Kumar S and D Ganesh Rao. So the two textbook which I recommend you to go and purchase or like take from the library is Uday Kumar S and D Ganesh Rao. So these two textbook will help you in understanding the concept in a better way. Okay. So let's take on to some simple textbook. If you are more interested in the subject, then only you go to this Barry Van Veen or Oppenheim and those kind of textbook. So if you find, you are getting something and you are like more interested, you wanted to do things more with signals, then you go with higher textbook. To keep things simple, now we will refer this Uday Kumar and D Ganesh Rao. Okay. Okay. Now let's enter into module 1. So whenever you are reading some subject, be cool, be chill, relax, try to understand what is happening than you're trying to mugging up, which you are doing in your PU. Don't do that here. Here you try to understand things. Okay. Signals and systems. So as I told you, signals and system both are like husband and wife. Both are correlated in one form or the another. So what is the signal? A signal is a phenomena that convey information from one to another. Ayo sir, what is this? Say it in simple words. Okay, I'll give you an example and explain it. Take the example of sound signal. What it is carrying? It's carrying your information of your voice. So audio signal is an example. So it is a phenomena which is used to convey information. So whenever you speak in mobile phone, you're transmitting this audio signal. So this audio signal is carrying your audio information and it is transformed from one mobile to another. So signal is a phenomena that convey information from one to another. So how can it be represented? It can be represented mathematically as f of x. So anything, any signal you can represent in terms of mathematical signal, such as f of x or f of y or f of z. So for example, f of y is equal to 2x plus 2, or f of y is equal to sine theta plus cos theta. You're representing that signal mathematically, so you can represent that signal visually also. So I am saying signal, signal, signal from that time. Sir, show me some signal, you should say. So this is how the speech signal looks like. So you can see the distortion in speech signal, and also I have shown you the heartbeat. So how important is this subject? You can see from the signal and say it's your heartbeat, ma. You can feel the heartbeat, you can see the heartbeat. So all this happens because of this subject called as signals. Okay, so signals, they can be mathematically expressed as function of one or more independent variable. And example for signal as speech signal and image signal. So I've shown you speech signal, ECG signal. Okay, now let us see what is a system. A system is a physical device associated with the signal. So it is a physical device. For example, if you consider a microphone and I am speaking on the microphone, what this microphone does, it converts your audio signal into some digital signal, and then it is processed and you can give to some amplifier or something which will boost. Okay, so here whatever I speak, audio signal is the signal, and what is the system here? Your microphone. Okay, so a system is a physical device. It is associated with the signal. It relates them input and output signal. So a signal is a phenomenon. A system is a device. Okay. So what is the block diagram representation of a signal and system? So you have to represent a signal and system in terms of block diagram. So how do you represent that? So it is shown in the PPT. So one block, there is a system. You have input signal given to the system and you have output signal taking out of the system. So this system is your microphone, you suppose. Input signal is your voice and it's converting and it is giving to some speaker. So like that you have to visualize things. Okay. Then there will be a question: explain signal and system with the help of block diagram. What is a signal and system with the help of example? Then you can give an example for communication system. So there is an input signal, it goes to the transmitter, then via channel it goes to the receiver, then it goes to a output. So this is the example. Okay, I hope you have understood what is meant by signal, what is meant by system, then we have explained with the help of a example. Now, let us see the classification of signal. So, classification. So, why do we do this classification? To make, things easy for us. Okay. So, if you classify anything, so for example, you have a packet of germs with you. So, you classify with different colors. Okay. Red you keep separate, pink you keep separate, green you separate. What does that give you? Visually it is appealing and you can take it whichever color you want. But if it is like in a jumbled way, nobody likes it. So if you're giving to a girlfriend a packet of gems, you try this. Okay. Okay, then classification of signals. So signals are classified into majorly 5 types in your syllabus. The first one is continuous and discrete. Second one is even and odd. Third one is periodic and aperiodic. So name only indicates period. It repeats itself. Then deterministic and random. Power and energy. I know your power and energy will be less because this is the last hour and you feel, but you have to change that attitude. You should feel you're energetic, you're powerful, and signals is the best subject which is happening to you, and you are going to put effort to this subject, and I want you to maintain a notes and write that. each and every day, make sure you write and practice. So this is a subject which involves you to write and practice. Without that, you will not get this subject. So I request everyone to maintain a notes and write it. So whatever possible from my side, I will do it. From your side also, you have to do it. Okay. Now let us go to the first classification of signal, which is continuous and discrete. As the name indicates, continuous. What is continuous? If it is defined at all the instants of time t and it is denoted by x of t, a signal is said to be continuous if they are defined at all instant of time. Sir, what is this all instant of time? So you have the time axis here. So at each and every time, if you take, it is defined. So t is equal to 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 or 0.25. Anything you take, it is, there is some value. So there is no break here. It is continuous. Okay. And what's the example here? X of t is equal to t square plus 3t plus 2. X of t is equal to cos t plus et. So these are all the example. But graphically, if you want to see, so this is the example. So now we have seen continuous. We have to see what is meant by discrete. So before, what they used before the advent of this computer, we had this BJT, FET, big MOSFETs. There, they use this continuous signal. Okay, that time this discrete signal, that concept was not there. So when this discrete thing came into picture, it revolutionized why the computer used only discrete signal. You can't send a continuous signal to the computer. So if you send the discrete signal, what is the major advantage? Let's see. So next we will see what is meant by discrete signal, then what are the advantages of discrete signal over this continuous signal. So, what is this discrete signal? A signal is said to be discrete. As the name indicates, it is discrete. They are defined it only at a particular instant, and there is no information between two samples. So, you see this graph. They are defined only at some instances. So, you can't get a value like 1.5 or 2.5 or 3.5. It is defined at only one particular instant, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. And there is no information between two samples. So if you take this sample and this sample, there is no information between them. It is represented as x of n. There it is x of t, here it is x of n. So now I will ask you a question, whether discrete signal is, fast, or continuous signal is good for processing in computers. So can I get an answer from you? Anyone? Which one is good? Hello people, don't sleep.
Continuous, continuous signal,
Why continuous signal is good than discrete signal?
because we get the information from one signal to another signal. Means there is a continuation. So
Okay, but see this discrete signal. Okay, I forgot to say one thing. This discrete signal is obtained from continuous signal. So previously you have seen continuous signal, right? So see this graph. What I am doing is I am passing this signal through some switch. I will on off, on off, on off. I'll get this discrete signal. Just visualize that. So compared with continuous and discrete signal, for processing point of view, so if you want to do processing, discrete signal is better. Okay. Why? Because the information here is less, and the time taken also for processing will be less. And if you take any computer, you are using only discrete signal. You can't give continuous signal to a computer. So you have to sample it. Okay. The process of converting of continuous signal to discrete signal is called as sampling, and you are passing this discrete signal to your computer. So always discrete signal are best. And you have a subject called DSP in the next sem, discrete signal processing or digital signal processing. So there you are using these type of digital signals. Okay, so these signals are used in computers. You can't send continuous signal. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the second classification of signal, which is deterministic and random. So what is this deterministic? A signal is said to be deterministic if its value can be known in advance. So if you want to plot this continuous signal and discrete signal, I should give you the values, right? Then only you can plot. If I do not give you the values, how can you plot on the paper? So a deterministic signal is said to be a signal is said to be deterministic, so if its value can be known in advance. Then what is this random signal? A signal is said to be random if its value cannot be predicted in advance. A signal cannot be predicted in advance. Sir, then we'll ask this Jyotishi to predict this one. Why can't we do that? No, this signal is a random and you can't predict. For example, stock market index. Oh, I hope you have seen this scam 1992. So their stock market index, how it varies, nobody knows. So yesterday it was like in minus. Today it went like bullish. So you don't know how it, you can't predict it. Hence it is called as a random signal. Okay. Now, what are the things we have learned? What is a signal? What is a system? Then classification of signal. In that, what we have learned: continuous, discrete, deterministic, and random. Now, we will see the third group, which is even and odd. Whenever this even and odd comes into picture, I remember this Delhi's even and odd, cars going. So for some days you are allowed, and odd days you are not allowed. Like that, we have this classification of signal, which is even and odd. So what is this even signal? A signal is said to be even if x of minus t is equal to x of t for continuous signal. For a discrete signal, x of minus n is equal to x of n. Okay, this I have represented mathematically. Sir, you have represented mathematically, sir. I'm not able to understand. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to show you visually also. So to get an explanation, so that's the difference between mathematics and signals. So in mathematics you write this x of minus t is equal to x of t, or x of minus n, x of n. But in signals you have to plot those signals and prove us. Okay, so x of minus t is equal to x of t. So let us take this signal, which is represented graphically, one square bar. Okay, like one rectangular bar. Okay, so prove that it is even signal. So if a signal is even signal, then x of minus t is equal to x of t. What that means? When you fold this like a kerchief, this part, this right part should exactly overlap on the left side. So if you fold this exactly at the center, so the right side part will fall on this. Hence it is an even signal. Let us consider some more example. So take this example. So you have a signal here from minus 2 to 2, minus 2 to minus 1, minus 1 to 0, 0 to 1, and 1 to 2. Let us fold this signal exactly at the center. Now what happens when you fold the signal? So this part, whatever is there, will overlap on this, right? Whenever I fold like a kerchief, so this right side part will fall on this part, and this upper side from 1 to 2 will fall on this minus 1 to 2. It's just symmetric about the origin. So if you consider this third example, x of n, you fold it. What happens? 1 and minus 1, these two get overlapped. Minus 2 and 2, these two get overlapped. 3 and minus 3 get overlapped. 4 and minus 4 get overlapped. It's just like folding like a kerchief. So if it overlaps, then it is called as even signal. Now let us see odd signal. A signal is said to be odd if x of minus t is equal to minus x of t and x of minus n is equal to minus x of n for discrete signal. So there is continuous signal for one and discrete signal. Continuous it will be continuous, discrete it will be discrete. Again, sir, x of minus t is equal to minus x of t. Please explain me in a graphical manner. Okay, let us take this example. So to prove this, it is an odd signal. Easy. Just like even, you can fold it. So where it falls, this side. Okay, like this it falls. Okay, you can see my mouse pointing. But you place a mirror over here, then it falls here like this, minus a. Or that is one way of analyzing. Another way, you keep a mirror over exactly like this, in this direction where my mouse is pointing. So you'll get a mirror image like this. The best way to analyze is you fold it first like a even signal and take the mirror image. Then it is a odd signal. Then we will see this triangle. If you fold it, it will be here. Then again, if you take the mirror image, it will be down. Same thing, this sinusoid. If you fold it, it will be here. Then take the mirror image, it will be down. Same thing. Okay. So this discrete example, you fold it, it will be here up on the left side. Then again, you take the mirror image, it will be down. So this is the example for odd signal. So try to analyze it. What is the difference between even and odd? Even we can directly fold it. In odd, we are folding it and then taking the mirror image. So that is the difference. Okay. So regarding the solving the problems for even, odd and all, I will do it in the next class. Okay. Now, periodic and aperiodic signal. As the name indicates, periodic, it repeats with respect to time. What repeats? The signal repeats with respect to time. Okay. A signal is said to be periodic if x of t plus mt is equal to x of t for continuous signal. For discrete signal, x of n plus mn is equal to x of n. Sir, here t and n are the periods. So if you take this signal over here, what is the period? Period is t. Why? From 0 to pi, pi to 2 pi. After this 0 to 2 pi, so from here to here, if you take this signal repeats for every 0 to 2 pi. So it's like repeating. This guy repeats every time, if you see. So a signal is said to be periodic if x of t plus mt is equal to x of t and x of n plus mn is equal to x of n. So it repeats with some period. So other example, how it looks. See this triangle or like ramp, we will say, not a triangle, sorry, it's a ramp function. So this is repeating for every t. So 0 to t, t to 2t. So for every t, it's repeating. So its period is t. So this is for continuous signal. What about discrete signal? What is happening over here? For every n, it's repeating n, 2n, 3n like that. Okay. So these are periodic. Aperiodic means which is not repeating. Okay, which is not same thing with respect to time, with not some same period. That we will see when we are solving some problems. You'll get to know some idea. Okay. Then finally, power and energy signal. What is this power and energy signal? Energy signal. A signal is said to be energy. So I think you have drink boost or complan, you'll get energy, they say. So for signal also is said to be energy signal if it has finite energy and no power or zero power. So if the signal has zero power, then only it is called as energy signal, or it has finite energy. Don't worry about this definition. So when you solve the problem, you'll get a good idea. Power signal. A signal is said to be a power signal. Sorry, here in the PPT I have written as energy signal. I'm sorry for that. A signal is said to be power signal if it has finite power and infinite energy. Okay, don't worry about these things. When we solve the problems, you'll understand the things. Okay, so all energy signal are non-periodic signal, and all periodic signal are power signal. So whatever we have seen one slide before, they are power signals. So what is the equation for representing it? For energy, E is equal to integral minus infinity to infinity mod x of t the whole square dt. So this is for continuous signal. For discrete, summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity mod x of n the whole square. Okay. For power signal, 1 by t integral 0 to t x square dt, and p is equal to 1 by n summation 0 to n minus 1 x square n. So what is the difference you can see here? In the first thing, you can see that minus infinity to infinity, that infinity term comes. But you can see for power, it is defined for a particular time, that is 0 to t or 0 to n minus 1. So for a particular time, it is defined. Energy, like minus infinity to infinity, those kind of things. Okay. So do you have any doubts up till this slide? Guys, do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'll end my class today now. So tomorrow's class, we will do some problems. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Bye.